You wouldn't think that musicians, or most certainly rock stars, would be the most well-read people in the world, but oftentimes some of your favorite songs that you've ever heard actually have their roots in books, or even all the way back to classic works of art in the literature world. So coming up on the channel today, Lauren from the Beard Owl podcast is going to stop by and share 5 examples of songs you may or may not know have their roots in classic literature. Coming right up. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by. My name is Russ, this is Lauren, and as you know, we have a couple of videos every week where we share just a different and unique perspective on music. We try and keep it upbeat and positive, so if this is your first time on the channel and you like what you're about to see, please make sure you're subscribed. Please, at the bare minimum, drop us a like, and then I'll tell you again at the end of the video, but make sure to drop a comment because I think subjects like this are especially interesting. So Lauren is about to share 5 songs that you may or may not know have their roots in classic literature. And there's one on here specifically that I have many memories of telling people, listen to what he says right here, and then everybody's mind is blown on it. But we'll get to that in a minute. So kick us off. Which one are you going to start us off with?
Yeah, I'm going to start off with one that, if you know, it's like completely obvious, but White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane. It's obviously Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. And, you know, I grew up loving the Disney Alice in Wonderland as a kid. So, like, for me, this was very much a oh, duh moment the first time I heard the song.
Yeah.
And they pretty much summarized the book.
Yeah, that's true. And this is one that when I was a kid, just for lack of knowledge, whenever I heard the song, I was just always like, oh, yeah, that's neat gibberish. You know, and then later you're like, oh.
Well, Lewis Carroll is pretty much neat gibberish.
You're right, yeah. But I just thought they just wrote those lyrics, you know, and then when you know the story and you go back, that's what they're singing about.
Yeah, psychedelic culture really took a good, strong hold on Lewis Carroll's work.
Yeah, which is obvious and great at the same time. So kicking us off with the Jefferson Airplane and White Rabbit attached to Alice in Wonderland. What's up next?
Another one about drugs. It's a Soma by the Strokes, and it's based on Brave New World by Aldous Huxley.
Right.
Soma was a drug in Brave New World.
Oh, okay.
So in kind of looking at this, there are a lot of songs that reference Soma because it's kind of like code for talking about drugs without actually talking about drugs.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I'm not the world's biggest Strokes fan, but I know that particular record is very, very popular. And I do wonder how many people have heard that song and not got the connection.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. What's up next?
What's up next is Don't Stand So Close to Me by the Police. And, I mean, he calls out that it's about there's a book reference in it.
I would argue that most people that know this song probably know just the chorus, right? And the melody of the chorus. But, like you said, it's right there.
It's right there in the song. That book by Nabokov, Lolita.
And it's now this one I would say, just from what I looked at your list, I would say this is probably the lesser known book of all of the ones on the list, like that spawned. I would say all the rest of them are more common.
More common books. I mean, Lolita was a movie. Oh yeah, and stuff. But yeah, I mean, definitely like Leave It to Sting. Sting was an English teacher. Right. So I mean, Leave It to Sting to put a reference to a book in a song about what this song is about. Right.
The next one you're going to pick, I think not only would most people not really realize it as obvious. This isn't the one that I was referencing at the beginning of the video, but it's also way back in the band's catalog. So what's the second one?
Yeah, Shadows and Tall Trees by U2 from the album Boy. Shadows and Tall Trees is a chapter title in the book Lord of the Flies by William Golding.
Okay.
And what's neat is if you know what Lord of the Flies is about, it's about, a bunch of boys getting, stuck on an island and basically just kind of nature sort of taking over.
Yep.
The fact that it's a song title on an album called Boy, I just think that's neat.
Right, yeah, I totally agree. They like that connection there. Now, the one that you're going to mention last, this is the one that, and this is not a comment on the fans of the band, but more often than not, I have had friends who are longtime fans of this band and this song in specific. I'm like, hey, did you know that that song is out of this? And they're like, no, it's not. And then I go, listen to this part specifically. We'll get to it in just one second. And then when they hear in the middle, Mortar and Gollum and whatnot, they're like, wait a minute, and so
Ramble On by Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Guess what? They're a bunch of nerds. They love the Lord of the Rings.
yeah. I found too that it definitely in the past 15 years or whatever since the Peter Jackson films is when I've pointed that out to more people.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what?
Yeah, I mean, and this isn't even the only Zeppelin song with references to Tolkien's work.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah. I feel like this is the most obvious.
that's
though.
why this one made my list, because
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
here, he's like handing it to you. Gollum.
Yeah. And like I say, I've said that to people, and then they go back and listen to it. They're like, that's all the walking in the movies. That's the ramble on.
They're rambling.
I'm like, yeah. They are in fact rambling on. So I think this was a fun topic, and I'm not even, I'm kind of in my personal life, not even a famous book reader, and these are things that maybe weren't even obvious to me, like the Alice in Wonderland thing. But were you surprised by anything on this list, or are you right now being like, I need to listen to Ramble On again? Or what are some of your picks? Maybe there's some that we didn't even think of to share in the video. So please use the comment section below and leave that for us. If you have a suggestion for another topic, by all means, leave that for us as well. And as we always say, thank you so much for watching.